Alright, we did this tier list not long ago, and this is what we landed on. But since then, some of these haven't aged very well. So we're going to have to move some of these around. Some of these are staying where they are, but we're going to have to move a bunch of these around. You'll see. Okay. Martial attack, obviously, the GOAT, above S, above X. It's the GOAT, the most textbook opening of all time, especially the Spassky variation, which is the most textbook variation of the most textbook opening of all time. Obviously, you know the drill. It goes into a Roy Lopez, and then you kick the bishop, and then you develop your knight, and then he'll castle. You develop your bishop 1 square, he'll go rook e1, and you kick your opponent's bishop one more time, and then you castle. You castle already. This is the super important part of it. If your opponent tries to play the anti-martial by playing a4, you know for a fact that you have this available. It does not stop martial attack, by the way. If takes, what you can do is like, here, let's see what you can do is like, you can like probably go here. No, is that not it? Okay, you can probably like, well, yeah, d takes e4, and then b takes c6. Oh no, that's b takes a6. Okay, b takes a6, e takes f3. That's one of the ways you could handle this. If against a4, again, you play this. Like, what happens if your opponent plays I mean, a takes b5 is like, okay, there's no other way to handle it. A takes b5. Wait, what happens if does Leech Chess database play something else? Yes, they do. The Leech Chess database play something else. Okay, yeah. So this is the line you want. That's another line you could be taking. Against this, you have knight takes and knight takes. You have knight takes and you take the knight, and then he'll probably do one of these, and then you have knight takes, bishop takes, and then you have queen takes, and then you're gonna jump right into an endgame, and your opponent has like these 4 pieces that are just doing nothing. So there is that way to like handle the anti-martial. You can still play martial attack in this. The follow-ups are going to be a little different, but it still works. But again, if your opponent were to play the Roy Lopez, you kick the bishop, and then you develop your knight, and then he'll castle. Well, you develop your bishop 1 square, and then he'll push rook e1. You kick the bishop one more time. You castle. There is this, which also allegedly, quote unquote, allegedly stops martial attack. No, it doesn't. You can strike at the center all the same, and you still get to have a martial attack. Against this, he'll take, rook here, and then instead of defending, you just move your knight away like this. But yes, that you will have a clean way to like break through here. But like, again, it's slightly different, but you will still have your martial attack even if your opponent plays this h3. It does not stop martial attack, okay? The best move that your opponent has is to just allow martial attack. You know what to do. Like your obvious move is to just go for it. play martial attack. The only move that saves the game. And it's the most textbook opening of all time as well, which leads to a bunch of mass trades as you saw. E takes d5, knight takes d5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, rook takes e5, and then you again defend the knight. He'll try to hold on to his rook with d4. You kick the rook with your bishop. The rook has to go back. Queen to h4, attacking with the queen on the king side. Again, this is one of those rare cases where you attack on the same side as the area you castle towards. Normally you attack on the other side from the side you castled on, but again, this is one of the outlier cases where you do a castle on the king side and attack on the king side. The only other exceptions I could think of are like King's Indian attack and King's Indian defense, where yeah, you again attack on the king side as you castle on the king side. Against this, he'll try to kick. They will try to kick your queen. Again, you just tuck her in, and then they have to develop their bishop. They have to develop their bishop. They could play rook here. Oh, sorry. They could play rook here. If they do, you have this available, and then you should be able to get your queen out somehow. But that's I'm not gonna bore you with the whole sideline there. The main line, obviously, the bishop has to develop. You develop your own bishop, which means the queen has to move. You ignore that, slide your queenside rook over. Knight has to move because you can't develop any other way, so they have to develop in a really funny way. Look at how all the pieces are like clustered together while you have all this space. Yeah? Look how much space you've got compared to them like just being squeezed right there. and then like you just prepare to double your rooks. A4 attacks the b5 pawn, and all you have to do is just readjust your aim like this. That's all you have to do. And this is the most textbook variation of the most textbook opening of all time. Martial attack, mainline, Spassky variation. And your opponent could be playing anything at this point, and the whole game would still be textbook. Though that's the good news. The bad news is there's still plenty of chess to be played, and it does get a tiny bit position. Yeah, you basically have to squeeze out the rest of your win. That's the one downside of playing this. So what's the most likely continuation? There's that and that, and then they'll probably reroute the knight. Like I've seen them rerouting the knight like this. I've also seen like the queen like going here. I've seen that happen. I've seen like some bishop maneuvers. There has been some stuff, but anyway. Okay, bonus tip. If your opponent doesn't know this opening very well, they might go rook here, okay? There is a brilliancy you can play here. Is this knight to f4, and then they're like, and they're going to take here, and then you get to, nope, that wrong arrow, sorry. You get to open up this like file. You have that going, you have that going, you have that going. Like, just, if your opponent plays rook to a6, you know for a fact that, like, you sacrifice your knight here, and that's the best move you got, okay? That, if you know this move, you will get a brilliancy here. and there you go. You have your first brilliancy in an over the board game. Yeah, so do keep that in mind. But anyway, yeah, it does get a very tiny bit position if you play this version of martial attack, even though it's the most textbook variation of martial attack, and martial attack happens to be the most textbook aggressive counterattack of all time, and you definitely should be playing the Spassky variation especially. The one downside, again, it does tend to be a tiny bit position. So you have to be aware of that. So basically you have to like squeeze out the rest of your win. You basically have to like kind of play this game out like an anaconda. You got what I'm talking about? You got what I'm talking about? Like, you have to basically slowly improve your position bit by bit, and then you have to like encroach upon your actual counterattack. You can't just fire away like willy-nilly. Like, one bad move can like jeopardize your whole game here. So you have to be very meticulous. You have to be kind of slow about it. That's the one downside you're gonna run into. But as long as you follow a couple of guidelines on positional play, I know positional play really sucks, but sometimes that's just how the game works sometimes. And sometimes that's just how the game works, and you just gonna have to be mindful, and you're just gonna have to play a little bit of positional chess, and sometimes positional chess will be necessary. But this is like the one case where it's like, look, if you play into Queen's Gambit declined, like, that is pretty deplorable. But you play an aggressive counterattack such as martial attack, this opening right here, and it still ends up being positional, at least you tried. But yes, sometimes positional play will be necessary, and this is that one example where, but yeah, as long as you know what you're doing, you will... it will pay off, even if you play this game like in a bit of a positional grind. It will pay off. It will pay off. So this is like the top recommendation against nearly every opponent ever. I've just shown that the anti-martial variations that your opponent could be playing, neither of them will actually stop martial attack, okay? Like, I've already shown you, like, you can still play d5. The follow-ups are going to be a little different, but you still get your martial attack all the same. So martial attack, still the GOAT, still the number one, like, the most textbook opening of all time, especially if you play the Spassky variation. Yes. Top tier. Let's look at Tarrasch French now. The French defense is e4, e6, d4, and then d5. And then your opponent could be playing something along the lines of this, I think. Yeah, there you go, Tarrasch variation. The Tarrasch variation is a little difficult to navigate if you are playing this as black. I did run into... I didn't run into this, sorry. I did play this variation of the French defense as white once. But I didn't know how the rest of the game goes, so I had to basically improvise, but if we were to like just... Yeah, this looks like normal stuff for a French defense. You know, you just develop, and then you go c5, very much like an advanced variation here. It's just as counterattacking to play for white as much as it is for black. So both sides are going to have to learn how to play aggressively in this variation, but it's not the worst thing that you could be playing. It's still pretty good. If you do want to play the French variation, I don't know, French variation. If you do want to play the French defense, e4, e6, d4, d5, I mean, you'll most likely run into knight c3 variation of the French. Your best option is the Wiener variation, which is bishop b4 here. And then your opponent will probably play e5. And then you will try to, with the recommendation for this version, you will try to look like you're playing positional. So you'll play b6 here, and you're gonna try to like pretend to bishop f8, yeah. Bishop f8. Wait, what's bishop f8? F8. What's bishop f8? Oh yeah, you go all the way back. Yeah. Oh no, bishop takes c3 check is another one. Bishop takes c3 check. Yeah, b takes c3. You obviously trade here. You will try to trade these bishops. And then what's next? Queen g4. Queen g4? Queen g4 right here, yeah? And then what you're going to do here, up until this point, it will look like you're playing this so positionally. But what you're going to do from here, is this right? No, f6. Is f6 not the is f6 not the move? Because like I remember, oh, f6 is not the move. Okay, it's a blunder. But like I remember some kind of like maneuver that you could be playing that you could be like, you could use to like just bust over the position right away. Oh no, that's a blunder. Okay, but I know there's a move somewhere you could be playing where instead of playing positionally, you could like just bust open the position. I can't remember what it was, but like you could play that here. And then instead of like just trying to play positionally, like you could just bust the, yeah, there you go. I think this is the one. It's like plus 1.5. I mean, yeah, sure, but like what are the odds of your opponent knowing how to play it here? Oh, it's the lead chess database, so that doesn't help. Oh, hold on, there may have been, it wasn't g6. Okay, which one was it? f5. Yeah, f5. There you go. That was the move. It's technically a blunder. I mean, it's technically a blunder. I mean, what happens if your opponent takes here? What happens if your opponent takes here? Well, they basically just sacked the queen at this point, right? Oh, they're gonna take the queen here. Okay, maybe not the most the smartest thing to do, but like there was some kind of like way to like just break through here. Try and find it, okay? Like there was a game that I played in this version of the Wiener, and then I was able to just after trading the bishops, I was able to just break through here, and then I was able to just make stuff happen. Oh, was it Queen d3 that was most popular? And then what? And then if you no, that's still not. I could have sworn I saw some kind of a break here. I could have sworn I saw some kind of break here, but anyway, try to find it. Like you should be able to use a pawn break and just chip away at this wall right away. But that's one way to handle the Wiener. Like I've seen it happen. I've actually played a game where it happened like that. So there is hope. Like you don't have to play this b6 variation positionally. There is a way through here. Anyway, yeah. So that's like the recommended variation of the French defense, the Wiener. The Wiener variation will automatically. The Wiener variation will automatically transpose into the advanced version. There is delayed exchange, but like if your opponent plays delayed exchange you're winning. So I'll just like put it in S tier actually. Yeah, if your opponent plays the if your opponent plays the if your opponent plays the Vinavar delayed exchange, again, you're pretty much winning. Just get your light square bishop developed like as fast as possible. You'll be fine, and just try to like go for an imbalance on your position like right away, and then there you go. You have your thing here. Righty again. Again, the righty. I flip the board for a moment. Righty. Lots of people like to pronounce it as righty, but it's actually righty. By the way, it's obviously a French name. But yes, knight to f3 is not the righty opening. Okay, it's called the Zuckertort opening. Okay. The actual righty gambit, the actual righty opening is a type of gambit, also known as the righty gambit. Okay? So against this, your opponent will play d5. If you want to play normally, you would just play King's Indian attack, which is g3. And then your opponent will play something like this. You don't really care about what your opponent plays, but knight to f3, bishop g2. I'll just play the main line just to like make it easier for you. Castle kingside early, and then your opponent will play e5. You just support that with d3. You're about to break here. Your opponent will develop this bishop to prepare the castle. Against this, you'll probably develop your knight like this just a little bit. It's a bit foolish of them to maybe. I mean, yeah, you probably want to just push here. Just push right away. And then against this, your opponent will very likely just develop here. Because if your opponent pushes right away, then you get free tempo. The engine will recommend that you take here. I recommend that you don't. Instead, I recommend you just play this in the style of the Mar Plata attack. Obviously, the Mar Plata attack is an opening for black, but again, you play in the same style. Your opponent will push here, and then you have two options. This also works when you're playing the King's Indian defense as black, by the way. Obviously, the main line is called Mar Plata attack, but you have two options. You can either sacrifice your knight like this, to which you respond by taking, and then your opponent will take with a queen, and then you can just go about your way through here. You can either do that, or you can play in the style of the main line, just undevelop this knight, and then your next plan is to just undevelop this knight, and then you're just gonna push this pawn, and then there's your like main line King's Indian attack. Your opponent will obviously push here if they know what they're doing, and then you undevelop your knight like this. Let's see, your opponent will probably push here too, and then you push this pawn. Don't worry about what they're doing on this side. It looks like black is better for a little while, but they will mess up. You just have to know what you're doing here. It's not very difficult to play. It's recommendable for all levels of chess. It's recommendable for all levels of chess, like King's Indian attack. There you go. This is called King's Indian attack. It's recommendable for all levels of chess, and you can like you can get some really powerful wins even at lower levels of chess. You'll do pretty fine. Now we're gonna get to the Reti Gambit, also known as the Reti opening. They're both interchangeable because the Reti opening is a type of gambit. D5, again, knight to f3, d5. The mainline Reti Gambit is knight to f3, d5, c4. That's your actual Reti Gambit, okay? Again, it's part of the Boxer family, so you would fianchetto your bishop and then castle kingside, just like you normally would, okay? But anyway, you have to know two different variations. One of them is if your opponent takes, okay? If your opponent takes, just make full use of these two diagonals. Get your queen here, get pushing, get your pawn pushing here. Develop your knight. Develop your knight, and then you just have an easy time winning. The advanced version is what you really need to worry about, to which you will respond with the move b4. And then your opponent's best move is to push c5 here, which is known as the Michel Gambit. But your best move from here, you're not going to take. You gambit your own pawn instead, like this. This is called reversed Blumenfeld Gambit. And again, so you counter their gambit with your own reversed Blumenfeld Gambit. This should start be called reversed Blumenfeld counter gambit, because like you're countering Michel Gambit with your reversed Blumenfeld Gambit, but whatever. And your best option from here, they'll take, you take with this pawn, and then your opponent will take with this, and then you offer up another pawn, and then they'll take, and then you push here. If they know what they're doing, they'll develop this knight, but very likely they would be stupid to do that. So they'll probably develop the knight, and then you just take back with the bishop, and you're pretty well on your way, and then you have control of this massive center, and you're just winning here. The plans play themselves. You sacrifice like 3 pawns in exchange for this center control. And then your opponent will try to check you, and takes, and you just take back with the knight, and then you're better. So that's the Reti Gambit that you absolutely need to know. This is the main line that you absolutely need to know. But what happens if you go knight to f3, d4, and c4, knight to f3, d5, and c4, sorry, and then your opponent declines it, right? Again, you shouldn't try to play the Queen's Gambit declined, neither as black nor as white. But in a case like this, where it goes into an Agincourt defense because your opponent declined your Reti Gambit, Queen's Gambit declined is pretty much forced in this variation of Reti Gambit. Yeah. It sucks, but this is why you have to learn the Queen's Gambit, even though you don't even want to play it. And that's what sucks about it, but you will get used to it. I mean, this is a goes in defense, right? Yeah, you have to know what to do in a position like this, okay? But yes. this is what you're gonna be. This is what you're gonna be like. This is what you're gonna be facing like 90% of the time, as both white and black. Like, I mean, if you face the Queen's Gambit as black, you should definitely play the Albin counter gambit. You should definitely play the Albin counter gambit, but you can't just play the Albin counter gambit 100% of the time. So you have to come up with some crazy variations, such as the Vienna variation, the Rogozin defense, the Tash defense, and what have you. You have to come up with those. And I think there's a Lasker variation you could be trying, because like even in the Lasker variation, it will look like you're defending passively, but like it puts additional tension on the board, and once the spring like triggers, you should be able to get an aggressive game regardless. So again, this is why the Queen's Gambit declined is not the end of the world, but you still should try to avoid if you can, okay? But there are ways to play against the Queen's Gambit declined, normal declined, in an aggressive fashion, such as this. If you do end up if you do end up forced to play the Queen's Gambit declined because of the declined variation of the Reti Gambit, you want to go into an exchange variation, or you probably want to play like the so-called Marshall Gambit. There is a Marshall Gambit for white, so there's that. You probably want to play that to try to like get an aggressive game that way. So it's like, so it's not the end of the world, but please don't intentionally play the Queen's Gambit declined. It's just such cringe. Sorry. But yes, the Reti Gambit, worst case scenario, you will still be able to get a draw. So those are, that's staying, these are all staying. Modern defense, okay. Modern defense. This is the modern defense. This is the modern defense, right? And then when your opponent plays d4, your best move is to fianchetto bishop g7. And then what's next? Your opponent will probably play something like this, right? Standard line. Look at this. This is the engine recommended variation, okay? You play d5. Mittenberger Gambit. This is an engine recommended line, okay? Like, this is an engine recommended line. Like, so you know it has to be good. You know it has to be good. And then you're gonna take here, and then you just develop your knight as if you are playing the dragon and what have you. The one downside of the Mittenberger Gambit is you're in it for a long game, and you're going to have to learn how to play a little bit of positional chess. But as long as you do, you'll be fine. So the modern defense, again, is staying where it is. If you want to know any other variations of the modern defense, a lot of what you're going to go through, like in the modern defense and the Pierce defense, they both go pretty hand in hand. So if you want to learn more about the modern defense as well as the Pierce defense, for the time being, go on Levi Rossman's Chelsea program and go on like Chelsea site and pick up the modern defense course for the time being. I know I'm working on a course of my own, and a lot of what he'll cover is a lot of system-based stuff, and he'll cover like various scenarios. But what I'm going to cover is something else, like such as the Mittenberger Gambit. I'm going to cover that, and then I'm going to cover some other stuff like the Hippo defenses and what have you. So you'll have some more variety. Like again, so yeah, again, check out his course for the time being. My course is coming up, okay? Yes, there is a King's Indian attack course coming up, and yes, it will have the modern and Pierce as one of the chapters, because the King's Indian attack course that I'm going to do a reboot on, it's going to have like at least 6 different chapters. The 7th chapter is going to be on the Queen's Gambit and other stuff that you're gonna have to learn. But like the I think I'm pretty sure chapter 5 is modern and Pierce, because they both go hand in hand. But you'll one of the main lines you're going to learn is the Mittenberger Gambit, okay? And we're gonna go over what to do when your opponent plays. Like you want let's go over it right now. Why not? What happens if your opponent plays knight to f3 instead? Does d5 still work? Kinda. Yeah, now we just invented a gambit at this point. Yeah, what's next? Oh, you just take back with a queen. Okay, cool. And then you just play it very Scandinavian style. Okay, cool. And then your opponent just develop, and then you just oh no, that's a blunder. Okay, never mind. Okay. Here's why I thought about this. There is a line in the Scandinavian defense called the Anderson counterattack, in which you gambit an additional pawn just like that, and then your opponent tries to like counterattack through here. I just thought about that, but like, okay, maybe if that's a blunder, then maybe don't do that. But like, okay. I mean, you have more stuff available to you, so be on the lookout for that course. But for now, just take the Chelsea course. So the modern defense is good. Good where it is. Alban counter gambit. Let's look at Alban counter gambit real quick. Okay. d4, d5, c4, e5. This really needs to be everybody's like. This needs to be everybody's like, you know, main repertoire, especially in like classical chess. If I recall correctly, I remember a win achieved by a grandmaster with the Alban counter gambit in classical as recently as 2022. I'm not exactly 100% sure on that, but I know there is a win achieved in classical with the Alban counter gambit somewhere around there. It's only 0.7 for white. It's still playable. Okay? You definitely want this in your repertoire. This needs to be your main repertoire. You play the normal decline, you're stupid, okay? I mean you kind of have to play the normal at some point, because like you have to bring out stuff like the Rogozin defense, and then you have to kind of like you do have to kind of like have more variety in your like repertoire, so that your opponent has to like keep guessing. But other than that, like, this needs to be what you play the most often, okay? So Alban counter gambit is good good where it is. Okay, Portuguese gambit. Let's look at Portuguese gambit real quick, okay? Portuguese gambit, again, one of the better openings you could be playing. It's in the Scandinavian. It looks like modern Scandi at first. And the best move is to best move for white is to give the pawn back, okay? But if you are a smart enough player, you're not going to take the pawn. You're not going to take the pawn. You know what you're going to do instead? Attack the queen. There you go. Portuguese gambit. This is what you should be playing. It's a hyper-modern opening, okay? It's a hyper-modern opening, and you don't even care about center control. And here's how you can dominate your opponent's game without worrying about center control. You're going to be amazed by this, okay? Your opponent will try to kick your opponent's bishop. Your opponent will try to kick your bishop, okay? Just retreat 1 square. You don't have to think much. And then your opponent will try to take more center control. Oh, it's not an inaccuracy. That's a fine move. It's just one of the main lines. Come on, that's not an inaccuracy. And you just push your pawn like this. Just push your pawn like this. And then what your opponent will try to do is to gain additional tempo on the bishop while taking center control. But you'll find out that's a blunder. And you'll find out why. You sacrifice a knight. Takes. You attack with the queen. You force your opponent to lose castling rights. At that point, you can gain an additional tempo on the rook. I'm sorry. And then your knight has to block. And your not opponent, sorry. And then you can attack with your queen one more time. I don't know what happens from here, but like you should be able to figure this out. I don't know what happens from here, but you should be able to figure this out. Okay, just try to like just if you can't figure it out, just ask around. They'll help you. But surely this has been played in Lichess, right? Okay, well, what happens if your opponent like they'll try to buckle the queen, right? They'll try to buckle the queen, right? And you just score your knight for free, and then just takes. And then you just gained another tempo on the rook, and so now the rook has to move. And then you just step up your bishop right there. Okay, that's Portuguese Gambit, okay? That's one of the lines that you could be playing in the Portuguese Gambit. It's one of the better lines. If you want to learn more about it, I will have a course coming up, but for the time being, just go on the Chessly website and pick up the Portuguese Gambit course there, and then you'll get your fix of Portuguese Gambit course on that, okay? But what he won't cover, okay, this is super important, e4, d5, and what happens if your opponent plays this. Your best and only move, don't play either of these. Don't play either of these. Your best and only move, do not play the French defense. Do not play the French defense, okay? Do not play the Caracon defense, okay? Don't play either of those, okay? Your only move, you take. Your opponent's knight has to develop like this. This is the only move that works, and you absolutely have to know this, okay? This is called Lamberger counter gambit, and this is one of the I already did a video on this, but like you absolutely need to know this gambit, okay? If your opponent tries to get the Caracon, don't fall for it, okay? Just play this. This is way better. Okay, it's minus 0.1 for you, okay? You're winning in this position, okay? Just play this, okay? So there's that one possibility. You do that, and then what happens if your opponent tries to hold on to the pawn? There are two ways you can go about this. There's the Scandinavian gambit right here. It says path transfer, but like there's a Scandinavian gambit you can play here. Look up Solomon Rudell's course on that. He did a video on it. Again, just look up the Chess Giant. He did a video on this. But you can also play the Icelandic pawn gambit, which let's see if I remember how to play this. Let's see if I remember how to play this. Yeah, you just take care, and then what's next time? I'm pretty sure it was this, and then you just yeah, I remember it being this. And takes, right? And then you just develop a queen, and then she tries to pin you, and then you just what's next to your castle? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I'll have to go back to the Chesley course on this, but his course also covers the Icelandic pawn gambit. But his course won't cover the Limburger counter gambit. I already did a video on it. Just look at that. Or if you want to like learn a little more about it, you can also look at the what was his name? John Bartholomew. Yeah, John Bartholomew. You can look at his video on the Limburger counter gambit. There you go. Like, you can look at those. You definitely need to learn that gambit as well as the Icelandic pawn and the Portuguese gambit if you're going to play the Portuguese gambit. But again, yes, pretty valuable stuff. Latvian gambit or Latvian gambit. Okay, it's called Latvian gambit. I'm just really trying to like emphasize like the pronunciation, so that just make sure that to make sure that the AI doesn't get it wrong. Latvian gambit. Yes, again, I already did several videos on this stuff. You know it has to be good. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Again, main line. You know the drill. Takes. You can play the Latvian gambit like this, or you can also do one of these. Oh, get out of here! It's not a mistake. It's perfectly viable. Like I saw a master level win in classical with the Latvian gambit as recently as 2023, okay? The Latvian gambit has won a game as recently as 2023 at master level. It's not, oh my god, it's not a mistake. It's one of the most book moves you can be playing. It's not dubious. It's not dubious anymore. Anyway. You can also play like this, which leads to your opponent like trying something like really fishy like this, and it will look like you blundered your rook. And in fact, your opponent will try to take this rook. But you have this. No, that's not. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Wait, which one was it? What was it? This? No. Which one was it? Was it D4? Was it D4? No. You just no. I remember. Hold on a moment. I see far. Oh, right. It's not bishop c4, okay. It looks like this, and then your opponent, you'll it's like knight to f7, and then queen e7, right? Yeah, this is the one, right? No, that's not it. Huh. No, that's not it. And then like... Huh. Hold on a moment. I'm pretty sure. Corkscrew counter gambit, right? All banks, yeah. Oh, there we go. Corkscrew gambit, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's flip the bar. Because I need to make sure you know this is an option, right? I have to be like, okay, so yeah, that knight takes c5, yeah, and then yeah. Ah, yes, okay. Now I get what's going on. Okay, yeah. Bishop and then just take. Yeah, that's where we messed up. Okay, yeah, sure. And then we just take, and then your opponent will try to quote unquote win this rook. Yes. But, and then he will take your rook. There you go, corkscrew gambit. There you go, corkscrew gambit. And then like your opponent's like only move is like to go here, and then which is a blunder, and then you just get to like bludgeon the queen. Has to take. There's nothing else with wins, so you just take the queen for free, and then you just, you know, and then your opponent is gonna be like try to like frantically to try to defend here, and then he'll try to castle, but then you have this coming, and then your opponent will try to like block with it, but then it does nothing, and then you just and then your opponent's king is just blushing like this. And you just have to like, what happens if he takes here, and then you just, yeah. There you go, corkscrew gambit. Yes. I can't remember the exact main line, but I'm pretty sure you have like a mate and a few if you play it correctly. Try and find the video from back like several years ago. You should be able to find it. But yes, this is one of the things that you could be playing. So yes, Latvian gambit again, A tier. Latvian gambit. Try to like really like emphasize it. Latvian gambit again, A tier. I'm really taking my time to like replay all the moves on this tier list. At least the ones I know of anyway. Just so everyone's like on the same page here. E4, C5, knight to F3, D6, D4, C takes D4, knight takes D4, knight to F6, knight to C3, A6, and that is the Najdorf variation. The dragon is the dragon is G6, and again, to remind everyone, the dragon has won a game in classical as early as 2026. There was I'm pretty sure it was the Reykjavik Open, in which, yes, they did win with the dragon, okay? But anyway, your opponent could be playing something like this, to which you respond with one of these, and then your opponent could be responding with that, and then there you go, you fianchetto, and then you fianchetto, and then your opponent does something like this. There you go, English attack. There you go, Najdorf variation, English attack. No, it's not just the English attack. I'm pretty sure this is called. I'm pretty sure this is called the Yugoslav attack, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is called. This is also called the Yugoslav attack in the Dragendorf, which again is also B tier. We might bump both of these to A tier, simply because they're more potent than I originally thought. But anyway, the one thing I forgot to mention in the King's Indian Defense, and this is why it's actually going to get a bump in its tier. Okay. Oh, was it this? I'm pretty sure. Was it this? No, that's not what it was. No. I'm pretty sure it's... Yes, there we go. No, that's not that. Oh, was it actually in the anti-Grunfeld? Seriously? Oh, yes, it was in the anti-Grunfeld. Okay. Okay. It wasn't the anti-Grunfeld like this, wasn't it? And then, yeah. What? No. Oh, wait, hold on. And then... Yes, G6 and then your opponent tries to play the anti-Grunfeld. There are two ways to handle this version of the anti-Grunfeld, okay? This is called the Monster Energy Drink Attack. I like to call it the Monster Energy Drink Attack because what they call Gogol's attack is apparently an opening for white, even though black is the one that initiates it, which makes zero sense. And to be perfectly honest with you, it has its own main line of attack that no other versions of the Neo Grunfeld actually has. So you have to learn its own main line uniquely. So I'm going to call it Monster Energy Drink Attack because that way it still applies as an opening for black. Against this, my top recommendation against this is actually you gambit another pawn. This is plus 0.6. You still should have a pretty good chances here, and it's already down to like plus 0.4. And you just gambit another pawn like this, and then you just there you go, my top recommended main line, and then you gambit another pawn like this, and then you get your queen into the game, and then you just win another pawn for free. It's pandemonium. You definitely need to learn this, okay? But another way you can fight one of these is oh, come on. Yeah, Lecco Gambit. This is the one. Yeah. That's another way you can take on the King's Indian Defense. So there is this. So there is this variation that you also could be playing. That's going to be covered in the plus 0.9. It's not the worst. I'm also going to cover this in the King's Indian Attack course. It's chapter 6 in the King's Indian Defense. Stay tuned for that. If you want to learn more, just if you want to learn more for the time being, just look at like the master level, like yeah, just look at the master level database and just go from there. You'll have a fun time. But yeah, that is one extra discovery that I made that is going to bump the King's Indian Defense onto A tier. The rest deserve to stay. We already talked about the Sicilian Defense. We already talked about the dragon. Dragon's fine, Night Dwarf is fine, Dragon Dwarf is fine. The Italian game, we'll just go over it real quick. The Italian game, we'll just go over it real quick. Like, there you go, Italian game. And your opponent will try to fight lever you. You should know how to play this. It's a check slur, and then your opponent will try to take the knight, and you just attack here, and then you go here, and then his only move is this, and then you just strike back with a queen, and then he'll try to develop his queen, and then you just go here, and then your opponent will try to snatch the rook, and then you have this counterattack going, and then he'll try to check you, thinking he's won, but in actuality you're much well off, and then he'll try to attack this way, and then he'll try to attack this way, but he'll usually go here, and then he'll take, and then what's next? I'm pretty sure he'll just develop his knight like this, and then you just go here, and then you just go here, and then I'm pretty sure he'll try to avoid the queen, but you have stuff. No, he won't play that. He'll try to check your opponent's. They'll be too smart for that. They'll probably go here, and then your next move is to check like this. Because this is a real game I had where this exact scenario happened. Okay, that's why I'm going over this, and then there's another sacrifice that you need to know. Another brilliancy that you need to know is this check right here. You hang a knight for mate, okay? That wasn't exactly how it turned out, but yeah. And then if you hold on a moment, if your opponent is smart enough, he'll just go here. And then you can just go ahead and sacrifice another knight like this, and then I'll try to take, and then you just good game, yeah. The Italian game is pretty aight for like both white and black. It's not the end of the world, but if you play it as white, the Evans Gambit is a pretty good one to learn. I also recommend the Deutsch Gambit. You can learn that through the aggressive Italian on the Chelsea course by Levi Rossman. You can look that up. I went through the Sicilian Dragon. We haven't gone through the Trompovsky, right? We haven't gotten through the Trompovsky. You need to like really enunciate it because the AI keeps getting it wrong. Trompovsky. Okay, there we go. Again, Trompovsky is like, yeah, there's one of these, right? Yeah, Trompovsky. Against this, I recommend the Raptor variation, to which you will probably go here, and then and then you have this. This is called the Deceiver Gambit. Look up William Grafe's course on this. This is called the Deceiver Gambit. You could be playing that, or you could your opponent could just try to defend the bishop here, and then you just take, and then you just gambit like this. There you go, Hergert Gambit. That's another gambit that you could be playing. So again, the Trompovsky is not the end of the world for you. You can also Trompovsky other Trompovsky players by doing one of these. if you respond with this, then one of their responses will probably be one of these, and then you can just Trumpovsky your opponent's Trumpovsky, which is known as the Blue Mojito attack. It's not a mistake, please. This is fine. This is fine. I already did a bunch of videos on this stuff. You know what to do. Your opponent will try to like maybe like what's the most likely scenario? Your opponent will try to like probably kick your bishop there. Takes, and then you know what to do here. Just what you just you know what to do here. You just develop this. He'll try to develop here. You gambit this pawn. He takes, and then you just defend like this. He'll try to develop this way, and then you just fianchetto like that, and he'll try to like maybe just develop his knight like this. He'll just develop his knight like this, and then you just fianchetto. You just fianchetto here, and then like and then what's next? So he'll probably try to like castle. That's probably the next move, and then you just develop. You just have to know this structure right here. You just have to know this structure right here. Oh, sorry. You just have to know this structure right here. There you go. There you go. There's your Blue Mojito attack setup. You gambit this pawn. Remember that? You gambit that pawn. Remember that? And there you go. There's your Blue Mojito attack setup. It looks like your opponent is +1, but that is because you're playing a system-based opening, and system-based openings obviously lead to a seemingly losing position, but then you're going to have a much more aggressive game later on. And that is because system-based openings such as this one, as well as the system-based openings such as Blue Mojito attack, which is what I just showed, the hedgehog, the hippo, they're all meant to confuse computers, so you're actually doing way better than the computer makes it out to be. The engine thinks this is just flat out wrong, but in actuality you're going to have a pretty good time. You're going to have a pretty good time. So that's another way to tackle the Trumpovsky. You gotta really enunciate here. So it's not again not the worst thing that you could be facing. So again, it will stay in B tier. Smith-Morra Gambit, it's going down actually. The reason why it's going down is because more and more people have been. Okay, let's go over the Smith-Morra Gambit real quick. Yeah. Again, the Smith-Morra Gambit, your opponent will try to play the Sicilian. This is for white, and then you gambit 2 pawns right away, and then you take back with the knight. No, you don't. No, you don't actually. No, you don't actually. You just develop, and then he'll try to take, and then you take here. Very much in the style of the Danish gambit that you're going to be running into, and this is the main starting position of the Smith-Morra Gambit. But the problem with this is that grandmasters have managed to figure this out a little more. So your opponent, if they know what you're doing, they will pounce, and good luck. So yeah, the Smith-Morra, because of that, is going down a little bit. Hippo defense. Let's just hippo defense. Let's just do a typical let's just do a typical 150 attack if we have to. Just do one of those. Yeah. Let's just set up a typical 150 attack, just to like, yeah. and then castles, and then you just develop this, and then your opponent will try to go here. No, well, they try to do that, they'll probably go here actually. And then, yeah, and they'll try to like counterattack through here. They'll try to counterattack through here. And then you just block like this, and then your opponent will try to attack here. You just block like this. And then your opponent will probably go here, and then just castle. Do you castle? I don't know. But yeah, there you go. Hippo. This is called the Hippo defense. This is just this structure right here. It's also playable for white. Even if you play white, you can come up with this structure all the same. Again, the one downside is that the computer evaluation won't like it. The engine evaluation won't like it. But the engine evaluation won't like it. But you think it'll both bishops. You prepare both knights like this. It's very much in the same style as the Scorpion attack, which I already did a video on. It's a symmetrical setup just like that, and then you actually get it done within like fewer moves than this, so you know it has to be good. But yeah, again, a national master has won a norm with this opening, so it's not the worst thing that you could be playing. It's a really good way to fool engines like Stockfish to like really gain a significant advantage. So it's like one of those anti-engine openings that you just saw with Blue Mojito. It works the similar. It works in the similar way. Sorry. The Hippo is fine. King's Gambit. Okay, just going over the king. Going over King's Gambit real quick. Yeah, this is King's Gambit right here. Again, it's not an inaccuracy. It's one of the better openings you could be playing. It's one of the better openings you could be playing. It's not the worst. If you let's just flip the board just for a moment here. Again, if your opponent takes, you block with a knight, and then you just accelerate your development, and you can like thrash through everything. But against the King's Gambit, what you can do here is one of these, okay? Yes. Folk, Beer, Counter Gambit, and then, yeah, takes, and then you stunt line, and you play the stunt line, and then, like... And then your opponent could be playing one of, these, I think? Your opponent could be playing one of these, I think, and then you just take this pawn for free, and then your opponent tries to attack here, but then it's just gonna get pinned. So now I can't just now I can't attack anymore, and then he has to unpin, and then takes, and then you just go here, and then he'll probably blunder. This is his poison pawn stuff, and then he'll just. Again, if you want to learn more about it, just look up a bunch of videos on this stuff. I will try to have a video on this eventually, but it's been tough. But yes, it's not the worst opening you could be facing, as white and black. They're viable for both sides. Roy Lopez, we already talked about it. It sucks. But if you really have to learn more about the Roy Lopez, it's this. Again, if you want a bit of an outrageous way to face the Roy Lopez, you have this. This is called Rotary Albany Gambit. And against this, you just have to like they're going to take. You know they're going to take. And then like, what's your opponent like likely to do? Just castle? And then you have this. Oh, maybe it was a little too soon. Oh, it's a blunder. Okay. Maybe like what's another opening? What's another way you could be playing here? What's another opening you could be playing here like this? No, G6 is that's a blunder. Okay. Just gain a tempo on the rook. Why not? Just gain a tempo on the rook. Why not? And then your opponent will be playing here. And then why is it still a blunder? I'm pretty sure I did a video on it, but again, if you wanted to learn more, just go on that video. Rotary Albany Gambit. Yes, this is another way you can face the Roy Lopez, and it's another great way to like face the Roy Lopez. It's not the best opening you could be playing as white. If you want a really positional opening, then yeah, sure, go knock yourself out. But it's not one of the better openings you could be playing as white. But there are some great refutations that you could be playing. That you could be playing, which is against the Roy Lopez. So it's great for black, not so much for white. Grunfeld, okay, you really want to know the Grunfeld? Okay, cool. You really want to know Grunfeld? Okay, cool. Here, it looks like King's Indian defense at first, and then your pawn plays this, and then you play this. This is called Grunfeld. Again, I don't recommend it. Again, I don't recommend it. If you really want to play aggressive, just play King's Indian defense, just please. But like, I mean, sure, if you really want to play this, like, okay, sure, but like, if you really want to play this, like, sure, I'm pretty sure it's a little outdated for what it is, but whatever. It's fine. It's not the worst opening that you could be playing. Nimzo Indian again. Just gonna go over real quick. If your opponent plays one of these, and then your opponent plays this, and there you go. This is your Nimzo Indian. D4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, bishop b4. There you go, Nimzo Indian defense. Against this, if you really want to learn more about it, you want to put your pawns here, and you sacrifice this bishop for this knight, and then you just try to get a stronger dark squares, and then you just get your bishop to like sweep up the rest. It's a very back to basics style opening. It's quite popular even at grandmaster level, but this is why lots of people play the Queen's Gambit declined and then play knight to f3 to begin with, to like go for that anti-Nimzo version. And this is why Queen's Gambit is so popular at master level, and I hate it so dang much. Like, this is why I hate chess, to be honest with you. I mean, I definitely love theory, but that's not why theory is there. If you're trying to play theory, you're trying to play aggressive chess, and nobody is playing aggressive chess anymore, which really sucks. Catalan, do we have to go about? Do we have to go over the Catalan? Okay, fine. No. Catalan is basically like Queen's Gambit decline, but then it's like, what's the next opening? I think I'll be playing. This is the stuff, right? And then your opponent could be playing like more, the castles, and then castles. There you go, Castellan. There you go, mainline Castellan. And then it goes into a delayed, deferred takes, and then you just use your queen to like try to win that back, and then you what's his best line to like. There will be a bunch of videos on this stuff. You'll be able to find it. But there you go, Catalan. I'm pretty sure the Catalan is in chapter 3 of the King's Indian attack stuff. But this stuff is going to be like that chapter is going to be like really tough to like come up with, because there's like so much that I'm gonna have to like learn about, and I don't know much about it yet. So it's still a bit of a work in progress. But yes, Catalan is still pretty good. Budapest Gambit. Do we have to go over the Budapest Gambit? We didn't go over the Dutch defense, did we? Sorry. By the way, if you want to, okay, yeah, here, I'll just quickly go over the Dutch defense. Why not? D4 F5 is the Dutch defense, and then your opponent will very likely play a C4, in which you respond with knight to F6, and then your opponent will probably play one of these, and then you go here, G6, and is that the Leningrad version? Not yet. And your opponent will probably play a knight to F3, and then you fianchetto, and then and I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, they try to fianchetto too, and then I'm pretty sure you, yeah, D6, and then fianchetto, and then castle, and then queen, and then you strike like this, I'm pretty sure. You strike like this, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's 2.0 for white. Here, let's look up Leningrad variation. Yeah, there you go. Leningrad variation. Okay, cool. Oh, they want to fianchetto right away. They want to fianchetto right away in this variation. Okay, cool. But yes, I went over the basic moves there. Just D4 F5, C4, and then you go knight to F6, and then they'll try to fianchetto, and then you just play G6. There you go, the Leningrad variation, and then you just fianchetto, and then works very similar to the King's Indian defense. So I don't recommend learning both, because if you learn one, the other will be redundant. But yes, they both work the same way. I prefer the King's Indian defense over the Dutch defense, like the Leningrad Dutch, because the problem with the Leningrad Dutch is that unlike the Sicilian, the Dutch isn't that great. But yes, you could be playing that's one variation of the Dutch that you could be playing if you really want. There's also the Stonewall Dutch. Stonewall Dutch is like, I'm not quite sure, but there are a number of Dutch variations that you could be playing if you are going to play the Dutch. But yeah, it's not the worst thing that you could be playing, so it stays in B tier. Scandi, okay, sure. We'll go over the Scandi real quick, why not? E4, D5, and then takes. And then you just develop the queen takes D5, you just get the queen out early. Knight to C3, and then queen to A5. And they'll usually go like D4, to which you will respond with E5, which is called Anderson counterattack. And they typically take, and then you attack here. You attack here with the bishop, and then I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, bishop here, and then bishop here, and then no, they wouldn't go bishop here, would they? Oh no, that's not. Oh right, that's not how that's not how this goes. Okay, cool. Takes and then right. I remember now. Okay, cool. After queen takes d5, knight takes f5, d4 e5, d4 e5, d takes e5. You don't attack with the bishop right. I mean you could. You don't attack with the bishop right to white, but I suppose you could because it avoids the orthodox attack line. But you typically could go here and then they'll try to develop their knight this way, and then you attack there, and then they'll try to like, yeah, there you go. There's your orthodox attack. You could be going about it both ways. You can opt to not develop the b8 knight at all and just go for the counterattack early. That's the engine recommendation. You really could be doing that, but there you go. That's like the one variation of the Scandinavian that I really would recommend if you really have to play the Scandinavian. And that is the one recommendation that I could suggest to you if you really have to play the Scandinavian. I prefer this version of the Scandinavian where again you just go knight to f6 and then d4. Again, your opponent will expect the modern Scandinavian, which is the queen takes after that. But again, if you're smart enough, you are not going to take. You attack the queen instead, and then there you go. This is called Portuguese Gambit. You should play this instead. Much more aggressive, much more worthwhile. Elephant Gambit. Again, it's a little more sound than the Latvian Gambit, but the Latvian Gambit has more theory information, so that's like the better opening that you could be playing. This is the Elephant Gambit, and this is the Latvian Gambit. Oh, stop! It's not a mistake. So there you go. Did we go over anything else? We already went over the Pierce. The Pierce is basically King's Indian defense, except again, Pierce is more of an e4 opening, but then c4 hasn't played yet, so that's what the difference is between the Pierce and the King's Indian defense. Again, my main anti-Pierce repertoire is to transpose it into a King's Indian defense. But again, Pierce and modern, they're both like they both go hand in hand. They transpose into each other. So it's pretty tight. We went over the Catalan, we went over the Queen's Gambit, we went over Nimzo-Indian, we went over Greinfeld, we went over Roy Lopez, Benoni. Okay, Benoni. Sure, we'll go over the Benoni, why not? There you go, modern Benoni. Don't play this. But there is one variation of the modern Benoni that you could be playing, which is a Blumenfeld counter gambit. Again, against the Blumenfeld counter gambit, you already know what to do. They will take this pawn, you take back over here, and then they'll try to take this pawn, and then you offer up another pawn, and they'll take, and then you just take back with this bishop. Or you can opt to just develop it. I mean, you normally feel kettle, but whatever. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be playing that version, actually. I'll just take back. Yeah, I'll probably just take back. And then your opponent will probably And then your opponent will probably go g3. Sure, why not? Prepare this fianchetto. No, is that not how you play? Is that how you play? Okay. And then you just develop this knight like this, and then you just your opponent just fianchettos, and then you have this going on, and then you have this going on. There you go. You sacrificed 3 pawns for central control. There you go. You sacrificed 3 pawns for central control. Again, plans play themselves. Again, plans play themselves, and you should be pretty good to go here. Just play a little bit more positionally. Just play a little bit. Just grind the game out a little bit more, and then you should be fine here. Okay. So there's that. We went over the Benoni or Blumenfeld counter gambit. Like those two are like. I mean, technically the Benko transposes into the Blumenfeld counter gambit. Oh, we didn't go over the Benko. Okay, cool. Again, if you really want to go over the Benko, here. This is the old Benoni, which is one of the other ways that you could transpose this into a Benko. You could be playing that, and then your opponent will, and then you will try to pretend to take this pawn, and then they'll practically defend it. But then they will again anticipate a modern Benoni, but you can strike back like this. And then if your opponent develops your knight like that, you can also transpose this into a Blumenfeld counter gambit like this. Yes, there you go. And then takes, offer up another pawn, takes, and then you just takes, and then they'll try to fianchetto here, and then you just develop your knight like this, and then they'll fianchetto, and then you get the idea. You get the idea. There you go. If you do play the Benko, the gambit itself, just be wary of the Nescafe Frappe attack. That's Nescafe Frappe attack. Just be mindful of that. Be ready to like you're going to have to look up how to like defeat that particular quote unquote refutation against the Benko gambit, but again, as long as you know what you're doing, you should be fine. So did I go over everything here? Benoni, I went over Benoni. Okay, Budapest gambit. Okay, cool. Budapest gambit. At club level, this is fine. At master level, it's difficult to win with this, but at club level, though, this is fine. There is this checkmate trap that you could be playing that you absolutely have to know if you don't want to get crushed, because you have to play that trap if you're going to like you have to play that trap if your opponent plays into it, so you have to know that if you don't want to get crushed. But I can't remember the main lines of the Budapest exactly, but I'm pretty sure like you get a rook lift, and then you move the queenside rook all the way to the kingside, and you get a counter-attacking game going on there. The Budapest gambit did get played at master level, but it was so long ago, and like it's plus 0.9, so it's like it's risky, but it might be doable. It might be doable. A little risky though. Well, you know what? We'll bump it to B. Why not? And we'll bump we'll bump the Blumenfeld to B as well. The modern Benoni. I mean, look. There are some like courses on the modern Benoni, especially the Czech Benoni that Levy teaches. If you like attacking chess, it's not the the worst thing that you could be learning. It's good to learn. It's a good alternative to learn. That's another one you can add to the arsenal so that your opponent can keep guessing on you. So yeah, we'll bump the Benoni up a tier. Why not? Close Sicilian. Do we have to go over that too? Okay, close Sicilian. Okay, just there you go. Close Sicilian. There you go. It can transpose into the open Sicilian. You know the drill. Okay. And then what else is there? Grand Prix attack. Grand Prix attack? Okay, hold on a moment. Yeah, Grand Prix attack. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. We'll talk about the Grand Prix attack. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, it's in the closed. Okay, sure. Grand Prix attack. Yeah, sure. No, that's not. Is that not the? Oh well. It is a playable gambit. Sure. Yeah, there you go. We invented a gambit just like this. Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm pretty sure. Like. Yeah, sure. We invented another gambit like this. Why not? Okay. Well, yeah. That's another thing we could be playing there. Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, what's the best line against this? I mean, do I? I mean, I'm pretty sure I found this at the Anti-Sicilian for Black course. If you really have to learn about that, then there you go. If you really have to learn that, then there you go. Then learn how to fight against a Grand Prix attack if you absolutely have to. I mean, in this type of Sicilian, I wouldn't even recommend knight c6, but whatever. I wouldn't even recommend knight c6, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Close Sicilian Grand Prix, yeah, sure. Smith Moria went down because, yeah, we already established that it's not that good. Rossolimo, oh god, we have to talk about the Rossolimo. Okay, fine. Yeah. This is, by the way, this is why, you try to play the accelerated dragon. This is why the accelerated dragon doesn't work, okay? This is why the chances of you getting the accelerated dragon is literally 0. So this is why it stays in the bottom tier. And yeah, Rossolimo again. You absolutely know how to face this, but if you do, like you'll. Well, is there a gambit that we could be playing against this? Hold on, is there a gambit that we could be playing against this? I mean, oh yeah, G6 is like that's one thing we could be. No. How's this? Oh, there we go. We just invented another gambit that we could be playing. Okay, cool. We just invented another gambit we could be playing. Okay, cool. There you go. There you go. Like there you go. The anti-Rossolimo counterattack. There you go. Okay, then we can just take back with a queen like this, and then just bludgeon the opponent like this. Okay, sure. Okay, cool. It's not the worst thing that you could be facing. Okay, cool. We'll bump it to C tier. Okay, why not? Bone Cloud, again, not the worst thing that you could be facing. Just play the King's Indian setup. Just play the King's Indian setup. Just do that. I mean, here, if your opponent plays this, your opponent plays the Bone Cloud, what would you do, okay? What would you do, okay? I'm sure we could just play something like this, and then your opponent would be playing that, and then just. I mean, this has to be what your opponent plays, right? Just do that, and then just there you go. There you go. You know what to do here. Just do this. Just do this. There you go. A ball card is not the worst thing that you could be facing. Evans Gambit again. Evans Gambit again, not the worst thing that you could be facing, but pretty effective for white. So it can stay. Hellbilly attack. I mean, do we really want to go over the Evans Gambit? Okay, fine. Do we really want to go over the Evans Gambit? Okay, fine. Right here, we'll go over the Evans Gambit. Why not? Okay. E4, E5, knight to F3, knight C6, and then it goes into the Italian game, and then your opponent plays the mainline Italian, which is bishop C5 instead of knight to F6, and then you just unleash the move B4. There you go, Evans Gambit. Yeah, there you go, Evans Gambit. Oh, no. No, don't do that. No! Okay, there you go. There you go, Evans Gambit. There you go. And then your opponent could be playing something like this. You know, and then your opponent could be playing something like this. There you go, Fontaine Gambit. Fontaine Counter Gambit, sorry. Fontaine Counter Gambit, sorry. Okay, yeah, I did win a game with the Fontaine Counter Gambit, so there you go. There you go, that's one thing you could be playing there. That's one thing you could be playing there. Hellbilly attack. Okay, we'll go over the Hellbilly attack real quick. Okay, cool. Hellbilly attack. Okay, we'll go over. It's for white. Calcon, and then you just immediately go like this. There you go. Hellbilly attack. Magnus Carlsen played this, and he won a game with it. So I can't judge. I mean, there you go. Like 2017, there was a win. 2017 there was a win, 2015 there was a win, 2015 there was a win, 2018 there was a draw, 2022 there was a draw. There you go. There you go. It's still pretty effective if you want to face the Calcon. If you really want to weapon against the Calcon and you're really sick of Calcon, you really could be playing the Hellbilly attack. Why not? There you go. English opening. Oh god. Again, if you want to, like, the English opening again is not the worst thing that your opponent could be throwing at you. Again, C4, E5, knight to C3, knight to F6. And then knight to F3, E4, knight to G5, only move. And then your only move is C6, the Adheban Gambit. Adheban Gambit, yeah. Adheban, I can't pronounce it. I can't tell which is the correct pronunciation, but yes, there is the Adheban Gambit that you could be playing, which, again, that's pretty much the best way you could be facing the English opening. Again, this is also super effective in classical. If you don't want to have to learn all that, you can also play one of these, which is Kramnik-Shirov counterattack, which goes into this, and then you would go here, and then I gotta try to look in here, try to is that the most popular? Again, if you want to learn more about it, refer to the game between Ding Liren and Gukesh Domaraju in the World Chess Championship in Singapore back in 2024, where they played this opening, the Kramnik-Shirov counterattack. That is the opening there. So there's that. English opening, not the worst thing that your opponent could be playing. Nimzo Larsen attack. Nimzovic Larsen attack is this one. I can't remember what the exact moves were, but just look up Leela Gambit and just play that. You should be fine. But you will have to be ready to face that when you know your opponent is known for playing this opening. But again, that's one way to face the Nevevish Larsen attack, the Larsen's opening. So it's not the worst thing that your opponent could be throwing at you. Slav. There is one acceptable variation of the Slav defense, which is your opponent could be playing this, to which you will respond with this. D4, D5, C4, C6, Knight to C3, E5. And this is called Vinav or Counter Gambit in the Slav defense. It's one of the more powerful counter gambits you could be playing, and one of the more sound as well. The one downside of this counter gambit is that it does lead to a pretty normal game of chess. It's not that aggressive. You will end up playing a pretty lukewarm game of chess at the end of this, so that's one downside. That's one downside. So we went over the Slav, Scotch. Okay, we'll go over the Scotch right now. Here. There you go. Here we'll go over. We'll go over this. We'll go over this. Here's one really good way you could be facing the Haxel Gambit. Here's one way you could be facing the Scotch in a much more meaningful way. Again, I don't show these gambits to make things interesting or anything like that. I really couldn't care less if chess is interesting. The one thing I agree with Tigran Petrosian is that chess should never be interesting, because if chess is interesting, then you're just going to lose. Yes, but at the same time, you don't have to drag the game for longer than you need to. And the philosophy that everyone should be adapting is just getting in there and being done with it. Just stop playing with your food, be done with it. Just finish the game in time so that you can get another energy drink and then just come back to the playing hall. That's what you should be doing, okay? But anyway, here, let's look at the Haxel Gambit. Let's see what happened there. Okay, here. It went into a Scotch game, which is this, and then takes and then it went into a Scotch Gambit, yeah? It went into a Scotch Gambit, yeah? And to that, you will reply with this counter gambit, which is called Haxel Gambit. There you go. If you're... Actually, that's one pretty powerful way to tackle the Italian, eh? That's one powerful way to tackle the Italian. Yeah, it's just, you just go, you play these three Italian, and then you'll go here, and then the Italian Scotch, and then you just, sneaky, yes, that's one way you could be, that's another way you could be facing the Italian. I didn't realize it's so more. I didn't realize there were more chances to play that gambit as I thought, but yeah, that's another way you could be playing that. Okay, there's that. There you go. Okay, so Philidor defense. Yeah, this is called Philidor defense. Against this, your opponent could be playing. Your opponent could try to gain more central control, knowing fully well that you're hunched up like this. That is a I really wished I could just play this, but okay, maybe it's not so good. Okay, we're gonna have to drop that to the F tier. Oh god, no. Plus 1.7. Oh no, that's just not playable, not viable. Oh god. Okay, no. We don't play that. Pontiani. Okay, we have to go over the Pontiani. Okay, fine. Pontiani is basically knight of and knight to c6, yeah. And then your opponent plays c3 like this, okay. Again against this, your best option is to, what's this? Oh god. Do you want to play that one? Is that a gambit? Is that a gambit? Do we just invent a gambit? Oh, we might have actually. Oh, interesting. Yes. Well, not interesting. It's neat. It's not interesting. It's neat. But against this, I mean, you might be tempted to play this version of the Ponziani, which is the most popular version of the Ponziani is to just go 2 knights setup, which is I mean, that's cute, but if you do play this Yanish counter gambit, you definitely need to know how to properly play this. Your best move is what's the best move here? Yeah, you take with the knight, right? You take with the knight, right? And then your opponent could be playing here, right? Yeah, there we go. Again, if your opponent pushes a pawn to attack this knight, your only move that saves the game, just ignore the knight entirely. Just give up the knight. Just give up the knight. But you attack with the bishop, and then as soon as he takes, you have this counterattack, and then you're going to be able to just wreak havoc upon your yeah. So Ponziani is not the worst thing that you could be facing, but it's it is going to be tough if your opponent throws that at you. Fry liver, again, we already talked about it. Again, we'll go over it real quick. Fry liver, we already talked about it, but whatever, we'll go over it again. Your opponent could be playing this, your opponent could be playing this, and then again, if your opponent does play this is called the fry liver, which is e4, e5, knight to f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight to f6, knight to g5, and then like knight to g5. Yeah, knight g5. Again, your only move that saves the game is bishop c5. They keep calling it an inaccuracy. It's not an inaccuracy, okay? But yeah, this is called Traxler counterattack, and this is how you can like save the game right here. Remember this. Remember this. You sacrifice an entire rook, but why not? You sacrifice an entire rook, but why not? And then he'll try to check you, just bunk cloud, and then your opponent will play one of these, and then he has to move. He just takes. So just develop his knight, and then you just defend the queen like this. So he'll probably go. He'll probably open up the bishop. I think, yeah, he'll probably open up the bishop, I think, and then you have one, and then you have this coming, you have this to throw at your opponent there, and you hang your knight for mate, and then his only move is this, and then you can go ahead and hang the knight again, and then you can go ahead and hang the knight again, and then you have this checkmate right here. And then if your opponent, by the way, if your opponent plays the bishop line after this, like he might play this, okay? After that, like, I'm pretty sure Levy already teaches you this, but like after this, like it does not refute the Traxler. The game is still pretty live after this one, okay? After this move, the game is still pretty live, so you know, like you will have a pretty normal game, a pretty viable game. The engine won't like it, but just ignore that. you will have a pretty live game after that one. So yes, fire lever, not the worst thing that you could be facing. Sodium attack. Oh, do we have to go over the sodium attack? Oh god, do you have to go over the sodium attack? Yeah, sure, why not? Sodium attack, 923. There you go, sodium attack. That's called sodium attack. And then against this, you just you already know what to do, okay? You already know what to do, okay? Oh no. You already know what to do. Just play that, or play this, and then just attack here. Just attack here. Just attack here, and then just castle. You already know the drill here. You already know the drill here. We went over that. Sodium attack. Berlin defense. Don't play the Berlin defense. Oh my god, do I know that to show the Berlin defense? Oh my god. Oh my god, don't play the Berlin defense. Please don't. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is called the Berlin defense. Don't play this ever. No. Don't play this ever. Okay, here's why you shouldn't be playing the Berlin defense. It's basically an offer of a draw. Like if you're playing for Berlin, if you're playing the Berlin defense, that means you're playing for a draw. It's horrible. It's super defensive. It's not aggressive. It's the worst thing that you could be playing. It's the plague of all of chess. This is why Roy Lopez is one of the most dreadful opening to end up playing, because yeah, if as soon as I see the Roy Lopez, most grandmasters will play the Berlin defense, and then it gets really dreadful. It goes into a really slow, grindy game with no benefit. It goes into a slow, grindy positional game with no benefit. And I mean, if you're really going to end up playing a slow, grindy positional game, like, why don't you play martial attack, get that counterattack going first, and then hunker up into a slow, grindy positional game. At that point, at least you tried, you know? Anyway. There's that. Berlin, Vienna Gambit, okay. Vienna Gambit, yeah, sure, why not? Vienna game, and then your opponent like plays this, and then sure, Vienna Gambit. If you're black, you need to do everything you can to avoid this line. But if you do play this as white, you will learn some stuff about it that might help in the Latvian Gambit. That's what Levy is trying to say here. But I mean, if you really want to learn stuff about the King's Gambit, like if you really want to learn more about the Latvian Gambit and what you could play there, if you want to like experiment more with like the same stuff with white and what have you, Vienna Gambit is not the better opening to do that. I would highly recommend the King's Gambit instead. But I mean, that is one here. And if your opponent plays here, let's, because you could be playing like this, and then you could be playing this, and then you could be like attacking here. And then you could be doing a lot of stuff like I'm pretty sure I got a draw like this too. The Brer Gambit, that's a Gambit? You serious? That's a Gambit? You serious? Oh, it's a Gambit because of that. Okay. Well, that sucks. But yes, Vienna Gambit, it's I cannot in good conscience bring the Vienna Gambit up a tier, because it's still super annoying to have to face. Bird's opening. Oh god, do I have to go over bird's opening? Okay, fine. This is bird's opening. There you go, bird's opening. I'm sure I'm sure they're saying it's aggressive. Okay, fine. So they're saying it's aggressive. Okay, what's your opponent gonna play? Okay, not your thing. Okay, so like what? Your opponent will be like, here, how about it? It's just blah la 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 la. Okay. So what's next? You just go E3. Is that what it is? Just open that up. Huh. Okay, it's sure, why not? If they say it's a little more aggressive, then okay, probably. Okay, bet. Here, we'll bring the birds opening a little up it's here. Why not? Okay, cool. Petrov, yeah, the Petrov is like... Petrov is super positional. You already know why it sucks so bad. The only reason why you should be playing the Petrov is you're either playing this gambit. The only reason why you should be playing the Petrov is either you're playing this gambit or the Stafford gambit. That's it. Like, unless you're doing that, like, do not play the Petrov. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's drawish as heck, and like it makes you look like a very professional chess player, but you're just not. It's stupid. Like people who actually know theory are gonna be like, yeah, no, that opening is like really stupid. A lot of Chinese grandmasters like to play that, but like that's all the more reason why I hate it, to be honest with you. Like it's no, you should not be seeing this in a real professional game. You should never be seeing this in a real professional game. Just don't. Sugar in defense. What's sugar in defense? What's sugar in defense? Sugar in defense. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, this is one of these, right? Yeah, sugar in defense. Is there what other reason why what other reason for what other reason did I say it sucks other than like you just give up a pawn for free? I mean, yeah, you just. I mean, is that even the most common variety? I'm pretty sure that they'll just take care. I'm pretty sure they'll just take care. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they'll just take care, and then queen takes d5 and then e3. Why not? It's just stupid. Like it's there's everything wrong with this. Don't play it. Cowcon, everything Cowcon just sucks. We don't need to go over it. This is what the Cowcon is. Don't play this. This is just as positional as frick, and just it's not worth your time. Just don't. They all belong in F tier. Accelerated Dragon again, F tier. Stonewall, yeah. Do we really want to go over the Stonewall? I forget what the Stonewall is actually. I forget what the Stonewall is actually. Okay, let's just try it. Okay. No. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. This is. So if it's like, so if I could like try again. Stonewall attack. There you go. This is called Stonewall attack, and then you would do the whole structure with this, and then your bishop could go here, and then hold on, your knight would go here. Yeah, your knight would go here, no here, and then you castle, and then you just. And then your bishop could go here, your bishop would go here. There you go. There you go, Stonewall attack. Again, the Trompovsky would also play similarly with this. Great for beginners, not so great at master level. It's aight. It's aight. I mean, even Budapest Gambit has been proven to be like, it's risky. Okay, do I want to bring Budapest Gambit like back to C tier? Why not? We want this. Oh, Stonewall. Hyper Accelerated Dragon. Okay, we'll go over the Hyper Accelerated Dragon real quick. Okay, there is an update on the Hyper Accelerated Dragon actually. If your opponent plays this and then your opponent plays that, it goes into this, which is Hyper Accelerated Dragon. Okay, okay, so that's the Hyper Accelerated Dragon. And takes, and then takes, and then you're gonna Fiend Kettle here, and then your opponent will you develop the knight here, and then you'll develop your knight here. And then bishop e3, and then bishop e3. There you go, and then knight. There you go. There you go, Hyper Accelerated Dragon. There is a way you could be getting this without ending up with the Rossolimo attack. And simply because of that, it's getting a step up. We'll probably like have it in somewhere along the lines of C tier. Even a beginner might be able to actually get a powerful game with the Hyper Accelerated Dragon. There is an opening guide on one of the other channels. You could be seeing a beginner guide to a Hyper Accelerated Dragon. It's aight. It's not the worst thing you could be playing anymore. Polish. Do we have to go over the Polish? Okay, fine. We'll go over the Polish. Okay, fine. Here we go. This is the Polish opening. There you go. No, that's Grob. Grob sucks anyway. Grob sucks as well anyway. Here, there you go. Polish opening. Yeah. Against this, just play the King's Indian setup. You'll be fine. Danish Gambit. Okay, do we have to go over the Danish Gambit? Okay, fine. And then there you go, Danish Gambit. There you go. The text and Danish Gambit. There you go. And then you'll just. And then you'll just go here, and then you just taste, and then there you go, Danish Gambit, and then you have bishops lined up like that. There you go. Again, similar veins as the Smith Mora. Oh, this one's actually. Okay, this one's actually got a little bit of venom. But again, if your opponent plays that, just resign. If your opponent plays this Century game, just resign. Just resign. There's no other way. But like that's all the more reason why it goes in the F tier. Juco piano, yes, again, the Juco piano here. We'll go over the Juco piano. We'll go over the Juco piano real quick. E4, E5, knight to F3, knight C6, and then bishop C4, and then you go bishop C5. There you go, Juco piano. Again, unless you're playing the Evans Gambit or the center attack, in which you play this and then you go here, and then unless you're playing this, like don't play the Juco piano. Just don't. Yeah, F tier. Elections defense. Okay, elections defense. We'll go over it real quick. Elections defense. We'll go over it real quick. Okay, yeah, and then you just have to keep moving your knight like this, and it's just super annoying. Don't play it. 4 Knights Italian game, again, it applies to anything and everything 4 Knights. The only acceptable variation of the 4 Knights that you could be playing is this. The only acceptable variation of the 4 Knights you could be playing is one of these. There you go, 4 Knights Sicilian. That's the only variation of the 4 Knights that is acceptable. Don't play anything 4 Knights other than that. Just don't. Again, Fool's Mate, this applies to anything and everything Scholar's Mate. Just don't. Like it's still really difficult to punish Scholar's Mate, even if you really know an awful lot of theory and you're like at this point, like I've beaten so many bots that are like intermediate level, so I know for a fact that I'm far from a beginner at this point. Like I've at this point I've beaten quite the number of like 1400, 1500 level bots, and I've beaten like a bunch of people like over the board as well. So it's like so I know I know where my level is, and I'm far from a beginner, and even then it's still really difficult to fight against the Scholar's Mate attempt. It's like super painful. Even if you look up tutorials on how to punish the Scholar's Mate, they still find a way to win, especially if they use a cheat engine in their shoes, which is exactly how I wound up losing that city championship tournament. And the offender in question proceeded to win the whole thing by cheating. Yes, that actually did happen. He did turn out to be using a computer in his shoe, and he also had an Apple Watch telling him all the moves. And he was using a computer in his shoe. And I know this because I was hearing an awful lot of clicking in his shoes as well. And that's how I never went to that chess club ever again. England Gambit. Okay, do we need to go over the England Gambit? Okay, fine. It sucks. 1+1. You know it sucks. Don't play it. Just don't. Advanced Carcon again. Carcon sucks. For the draw defense again, it sucks. Push opening, we already want that. Yep, there you go. We already went over everything here. These I don't know. The rest of these I just don't know. I don't know what they are. Except for the Alpine, I kind of know what the Alpine is, but I don't know how viable that is. And yeah, there you go. That's all the openings. Did we go over all of the openings? Did we really go over all the openings? Yeah, we did bring the Hyper Accelerated Dragon up a couple of tiers. Did I miss anything? I'm pretty sure I missed something. I just gotta. Oh, right. I did miss something, actually. Yes. The London system. Yeah, this one. In the last two tier list videos, I said that the London system. We actually saved the best for last, actually. Yeah. In the last two tier list videos, we said that the London system is the worst opening that you could ever be playing. That take did not age very well. It did not age very well. And here's why. Yeah, we saved the best for last this time. Your opponent could be playing this, your opponent could be playing this, your opponent could be playing this, your opponent could be playing that, and your opponent could be, and you could be playing this. This is called the Jobava London. Rapport Jobava system, also known as the Jobava London. The normal London system completely sucks, and I still stand by that. But The Jobava London, on the other hand, you want to play this if you want to sacrifice a rook. If you want that rook sacrifice on your, if you want that screenshot of you sacrificing that rook on the to like post on like the chess communities and what have you, the best way to do that is to play the Jobava London. Yeah, it's one of the most surefire ways you can actually sacrifice a rook and get a brilliancy. Yeah, I'm not joking. It's actually much more aggressive than I originally thought. This alone, this variation of the London system alone, brings it up. Like, it's now going into somewhere along the lines of B tier. Yeah. Do not play the normal London system, but the Jobava London is like really aggressive, and one of the main lines will have you sacrifice an entire rook. I need to look into it in a little more detail later on, but again, like, it's actually much better than I thought. The take really aged like milk in the last two videos. The London system, especially the Jobava, actually, all other London systems suck, but the Jobava, it has potency. It has potency. So definitely look into the Jobava. Okay, have fun.